All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the podcast. We are joined today by Miss Bibi the Link Builder. How are you doing today, Bibi?
Hi, I'm horrible. Thank you.
Awesome, cool. And Nick, how are you doing today, man?
I'm actually not doing too bad. I was feeling a little rough this morning because I did have a couple drinks by myself last night and then woke up real early, but I feel good now, so can't complain.
Awesome. And yeah, we will try to get Bibi some emotional support here a little bit later, but for now, we're just going to drill her with questions and maybe she'll forget her bad day. But yeah, so Bibi is the founder of BibiBuzz.com. She also recently spoke at Chiang Mai conferences, and I'm sure you've spoken at some other conferences as well. No? Really?
Only
Chiang Mai is the only
four.
one? Four.
No,
Okay.
four.
Gotcha. She was also featured in the Ahrefs hardcover book, which is probably the coolest achievement that
Yeah,
she
I did
has.
the forward. It was so cool.
And yeah, she also just has a very unique method of doing link building outreach, which I'm a really big fan of. And yeah,
Uh,
is there anything I missed there? Anything important?
yeah, I teach stunt fighting workshops. You forgot that.
Forget a,
Oh,
you
that's
do what?
cool.
I teach stunt fighting, like theater fighting workshops.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I'm gonna do one in April again
Is
in
that
the
where you
camp.
got
Been hitting.
is that where you got the sword from? Like that you had in Chiang
Yeah,
Mai?
yeah. So no, the sort of Chiang Mai, I bought. I walked all over the city with Lawrence from Studio Hawk to
Hmm.
find a sword to give to somebody who would ask the first question. But my house is filled with swords. So I'm speaking this week as well, and I wanted to take my dark saber,
Hmm.
from Disneyland. But it makes too much noise. Every time I swish it around, it makes noise. So I'm not going to
So
use
do you
that
do
one.
like LARPing as well? Are you a LARPer?
No, my son likes LARPing. I don't really do that, but it's a lot of fun LARPing. But I just watch. I don't do that stuff.
Gotcha.
That's
I was like
cool.
kind of interested in that. It looks fun to just go out there and just like
Hmm.
whack each other with pieces of wood or whatever.
We got invited to take my son LARPing recently, and we were considering doing it, me
Do
and
it.
baby's mama. Yeah, no, it seems like it'd be a lot of fun. I think, yeah, I could get into it, honestly.
All right.
And
So
then
so
Renaissance feathers, yeah. Sorry, go ahead.
so back
I got excited.
back to SEO and away from like medieval fantasy role playing.
Oh,
BB,
SEO is boring. I don't want to
wah,
talk about
wah. Yeah, BB, how does your just tell us
it.
like very briefly, like the Cliff's notes, like how your method of outreach differs from, I don't know, just the average guy out there doing outreach.
Yeah, I think people usually go either with a bespoke email, so that's really a unique email for one person, or they go with a generic template, and that they send out to thousands and thousands of people. But I like to do like a hybrid version that's based on traditional email marketing, where you segment according to niche or interest or demographic or whatever, and then you theme your template according to that segment. So you do a little bit of research and you use their lingo, their interest, maybe trends in their world or whatever. And then you get a themed template that feels like a targeted email. So yeah, so that's the difference.
Gotcha. So let's say you're doing plumbers, you get a template that you're using just for plumbers. You send the same one to every plumber, of course, switching out the information in it. And yeah, how much time does it take you to make like one template like that?
It takes about, well, I don't make them, my team makes them, but I would say it takes between 1 and 4 hours to create a template.
Gotcha. And why do you think doing outreach this way is important? Like, why do you think it's good? Why do you do it like this?
Yeah, so I think link builders, us link builders, basically, we ruined the market in a
The
way.
internet.
People, everybody hates us. And so what you want to do is kind of stand out, but also to make an instant connection with the person. But when the person doesn't know you, it's really hard to make that instant connection because you're doing cold outreach. They've never heard of you, right? In most of
Hmm.
the cases. So when you theme it, it feels like you're making an instant connection. So for instance, if I go to a party and everybody's like, wait, what are your hobbies? Do you have a hobby?
I don't know what my hobbies are now. What are my
Chris
hobbies
No
doesn't
now?
have
hobby?
hobbies. He doesn't have hobbies. I play guitar. I like working on cars, things like that.
Okay, so let's say you reach out to people that are guitar and no, you go to a party and there are a lot of people that play guitar and you know that's the only thing they care about, right? And if you want to make a connection with the people there, you could spend 15 minutes researching something about the newest AI guitar software packages or something and how they suck. And then you come in and you walk up to a person and say, "Hey, I've heard about this crazy AI thing or something." And that's how you make the connection. So
Sure. Yeah, finding common ground. Yeah.
Yeah, common ground, relatability, and don't be a dick. Those are the things.
All very important things, but sometimes, being a dick will work if it's humorous, I guess, but maybe not so much in an email.
I think if you're a dick and you're a funny dick, you're not really a dick, but you're just, I don't know, a little bit cheeky.
Yeah.
That's
I feel like I get labeled as that a lot.
as a
Or
dick.
I'm trying to be funny, but I come off as a dick, and then people hate me. Or not hate me, but they think I hate them.
No
Um,
comment.
Anyway, so just for anyone who's not familiar with your link building, BB, like, so what are these like? I know you like to use a lot of like humor, like, so how like you're using like jokes a lot. I know you use like images. I think you like cat pictures. What are like what do you think's getting like the biggest hits right now, or is it just like kind of niche dependent, depending on like who you're?
it
Uh,
depends on the niche, right? And you have to
mhm,
do what lies most close to you. So I wouldn't try to be funny if you're not funny, if you don't recognize what's funny or not. But what works for me right now, what I'm trying out is I've become really good at generating images with Midjourney. So I combine any niche with a cat. So I'm reaching out to truckers, and then I do this image of a cat staring into the sunset, drinking a big cup of coffee while he's steering a truck.
mhm,
And I use that in a template. And then in a subject line, I did something like truckers see the most sunsets of everyone, right? So
mhm.
that's a way to make a connection with the other person. Because they see that subject line and think like, yeah, we do actually, we see sunsets all the time or sunrise or whatever. And then in the email, they see that picture of the cat or a dog or that kind of stuff, and that makes the connection. So
So
yeah.
how much do you think like doing stuff like this, like how much do you think this like boosts your success rate, your hit rate for landing backlinks?
I don't know because I started doing that pretty early on. I was inspired by John Buchan. He's a copywriter and he sells packages of email templates. And I got an email from somebody who was reaching out to me, and they were just so cute and funny. I was like, wow, this is different, and they were self-deprecating and all that stuff. And then I showed it and to a Facebook group, and somebody said, "Hey, that's Buchan," and I was like, "What?" And then they tagged John Buchan, and that's how I started doing it. That was really early in my email. So I think I've basically always done that. I can't measure like how much it boosted it because I wasn't doing a lot of it before.
So like when you first started link building, when you first started doing your thing, were you completely solo? Like how are you selling links at that point when you first got
Yeah,
going?
I was completely solo, and then I actually so I started in affiliate sites first. Well, we can go all. Do you guys want to go all the way back? Because it's a long story.
Yeah, but
I'll
Depends how
try.
long. Give us the Cliff's notes, the Spark
You
notes.
can cut it out, right? So, okay, I was studying stuff, computer science or whatever, I don't know. And then I dropped out, and then I started doing all these different silly jobs. And then I got pregnant. I wanted to get pregnant, so I got pregnant. And then wait, this is way too long. But anyway, I got a baby. And here in Amsterdam, it's normal that you bring the baby to a daycare, right? So I did that as well. And the first day, I was just there for an introduction, looking around. And in the city, it's always very special if you get a spot because it was very busy. And it didn't feel right. So I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to bring my kid to the daycare. So I didn't do that. So I went home and I had a job, and I told her I just want to stay home. And she said, okay, well, what if I fire you and then I hire you back in a year? And in the Netherlands, if you get fired, you get basically the same income for a while, right? So it's really actually really good to get fired. Everybody wants to get fired, but well, no, that's not true, but it's a good thing a lot of
Hopefully the
times.
police aren't listening to this.
Oh, nah. But anyway, so I started being home a lot, and then I started Googling how to make money online. And in the end, I got the job back, but at that point, I realized I really want to do something else. Also, I found out a big news thing broke out that daycare where I was bringing my kids, it a guy was working there, and they called him the monster of Riga, and he was part of a huge pedophile porn network, and he abused over 80 kids, right?
holy
So
shit.
yeah, so from that I learned I shouldn't follow what anybody's saying that's normal. I should follow really my gut feeling about this. So yeah, so that really changed me because I realized I don't shouldn't do this with 9 to 5 mom whatever, bringing kids to daycare and stuff. yeah, so I found Tim Ferriss' book and I started listening to Pat Flynn from Smart Passive Income, Authority Hackers, Niche Pursuits. And I started trying to build affiliate sites, but I could get a lot of traffic, but I didn't know how to monetize it. And I formed a little mastermind of friends, and they were having success with their affiliate sites. And then they asked me to do link building, and they paid me well. So those were my first clients. So that's how I started link building, even before I knew what that I wanted to do that.
Okay, so
Um,
you're selling
yeah,
direct to friends first. And
yeah.
then like what was your first experience like going like outside of your friend group?
Yeah, that was hard because I didn't have I think I only had a small team then, and I got a lot of leads and a lot of clients, and it just kind of exploded. But I didn't have a lot of project management experience or whatever like that, and I'm very chaotic and maybe ADHD as well. So I was really behind on stuff. And what happened then was that instead of going to the client and saying, "Hey, look, I'm behind," I started hiding. So it was just like, I hope he doesn't email me and ask how things are.
It's the best way to
Uh,
deal with problems.
yeah,
We've all been there.
yeah, right. So because this guy, he paid me like 20K, like right off, and I was like, I never saw so much.
Money.
That was a lot of money for
Yeah.
me. And but the cool thing is that eventually I did how to say confess to him, and he completely understood. It was cool. And yeah, so it was really hard. So then I started to expand my team, and I also found a business partner, AJ, and he lives in Florida. And yeah, he's working with me for I think 4 years or something. And my
Mhm.
sister works with me as well.
It's weird
So
how clients who throw around money like that tend to care less than the lower budget clients.
Sure.
Okay,
maybe,
so you're at that point, all of your business was coming from, was it was all inbound and it was all like kind of word of mouth at that point?
yeah,
Nice.
yes.
Gotcha. Living the dream, right?
Well, I don't know. I don't want to sound like complaining diva bitch or whatever. It
Hmm.
didn't feel like it felt like pressure because but I know I'm fully aware of how hard other people have to work to get leads and get clients and stuff, but that I never had that problem. Oh, until last year, because then I had some problems with management and I actually had to fire a lot of people eventually, but I didn't want to do that. So I think for 6 or 8 months long, we really tried to coach those people back to a normal performance. And then at the same time, we were running behind on links again, right? Yeah, it's just sometimes happens. And then we were on big retainers, and I told those clients like, look, we're so behind. I need to catch up. So can you please stop paying? Because we had a buffer. I know it's super stupid, right? I'm really bad at
BB
this.
the Link Builder, business expert.
But I feel like that shows like a high level of honesty, which is
It
something that you
does.
don't
It's
see
true.
in, link building in SEO in general, maybe. So, I say kudos to you on that.
Thank you. Yeah, so yeah, don't follow me for business. But yeah, but then we ate up all our buffer, right? And
Mhm.
then suddenly we did actually need clients. So that was the first time that I actually needed clients. And it was exactly in the summer where nobody was asking. And that was the first time that I really panicked. And I think it took about a month or something where I thought like, okay, I gotta hit up people now and ask them because before I actually had a waiting list, a paid
Mhm.
waiting list of people I couldn't manage that. That was also kind of chaotic. But now I had to reach back to those people, say, hey, remember when you reached out to me? So that was humbling, but also good. And it was the first time that I actually had to do that. And it was nice to see that I had built up some kind of credit and people were cool to help and stuff.
For sure. So, okay, so maybe business management or project management or whatever, maybe not your super strong suit, but like what are some of like the biggest, problems you face now? You've been doing lead building for quite a
Yeah.
while, so, I'm
Mm.
guessing the problems that you face are quite different from, maybe someone just starting out. So like, yeah, what are your biggest problems that you face now with your agency?
Well, I do have to say that the link conversion has gone down, and I don't think it's us. I think it's just the environment in general. I think with with AI, right? Because we pitch content to people. So with AI, people now they can scale content or whatever. So they were a little bit more wary of accepting us as content writers. But I think that might change very quickly now because everybody got hit for AI content.
Mm.
So they might want human writers. So we do still get the links, but it takes way more emails to get them. So that's definitely changed. And I think that's for somebody who's starting out, that's probably the same. Other challenges,
Do you
I
have
don't
any
know.
idea of like what your success rate has like fallen to? Like how big of a
No,
percentage?
no, it's been really hard to measure that because so for instance, you can measure response rates, and for us it's like around between 20 and 30% response rate, but it doesn't say anything about the conversion. And yeah, so we can look at win rate, but it's really different for every project. It's really all over the place. So some projects it's okay, and other projects it's really hard to get the links because clients want links to really commercial pages, or and their site doesn't exactly breathe how do you say, the site looks, everything on the site looks very self-serving, and that's
Mm,
sometimes really hard, you know.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yeah, people don't like to link to that kind of stuff. Okay, so I guess moving on a little bit, what do you
Yeah.
think are like the most essential tools that you use right now?
Yeah, so I've been using Pitchbox for years now, and that's just the best tool for me. It's the only way I can scale things for us, right?
Mhm.
And they also have a lot of AI features now, and they're going to, I think they launched or they're going to launch an AI email template creator, and I've worked with them on that. And it's basically like a like a small BB bot, because you can choose like specific jokes you want to use, what kind of jokes, dad joke, observational joke, you know, and in which
That's fun.
voices, what kind of emojis. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Oh
So
God, you're gonna destroy the internet even more, but it's gonna be with like
yeah, I
higher
was just
quality
gonna say
spam.
that.
And then the
Yeah.
But I think the important thing is that when you do link building, you have to have a skill for finding new ways to do the same thing, right?
so you're raising the bar for yourself.
Yes, I'm destroying, but but it's been I like the honesty also has a drawback. I've always shared what I do. It's not rocket science, right? And I've seen so many copies come back, so many templates come back that are very much based on what I've said in a talk or somewhere. So I'm
Gotcha.
always killing the
Yeah. Well,
market.
you're a creator. I mean, yeah, I mean, that's a cool thing though to see that there's people using your skill sets and moving with
Yeah,
them. Yeah.
I like it
So
too.
so Pitchbox, is there anything else that you couldn't live
Oh yeah,
without?
Ahrefs for sure. Although it's becoming kind of sad because I'm bleeding
Yeah.
credits, and I've heard somebody say that the toolbar is also going to be paid. So I'm just like,
Oh,
fuck.
really? Oh,
It was my
dang.
only, that's my main workaround at this point. I can't blame him though, but yeah, like yeah, I don't know. I mean,
How bad's it gotta be for you to switch to SEMrush?
oh
If I can get you in
okay.
trouble.
Right.
So I like the tool. I don't like the company. So they've been over the years, they've been very aggressive in influencer marketing towards me as well. And it always has this sort of nasty edge to it, like a little bit fake edge to it. And
Hmm.
I'm all about transparency, authenticity, and I feel I don't feel that with SEMrush, to be honest. So I had very soon I had this feeling like, again, a gut feeling. I can't prove it, but just like, I'd rather be aligned with Ahrefs than with SEMrush.
Yeah. But I mean, I feel like
Yeah. I
this is
mean,
like, I feel like this is like your strength as a link builder. I mean, I can just like see like it's obvious that you would have success with like outreach because like you're such like a, I don't know, a person that like feels this kind of stuff like intuitively or whatever, right? Like how much do you think just you being BB has to do with like the success of the work that you're doing now?
Yeah, so for me, it also depends on how you define success, right? But for me, everything in my life has to do with me. I mean, everything in my life has to do with me being me. I mean, in
Hmm.
every aspect of my life, whenever I try to be something else that I'm not, it's just I fuck it up. It just doesn't work. So I just accept my weirdness, and that's the only thing that works.
So like when you started doing outreach, were you like, oh, I'm like really good at this? Is this like something I can do naturally, or is it something you just like kind of started doing and then it just you got better at it? Like, did you realize it was kind of like your thing, or?
I really don't know. My thing, I don't know. I think what you said about me being a creator, I think that's more the thing. And whether that's in link building or t-shirts or doing theater shows or singing or whatever, you know,
Mhm.
it's about being creative, creating something.
but
Gotcha.
you could have done that with like affiliate websites or local SEO or anything, and you ended up going down the rabbit hole of link building. So what was it like,
Yeah.
kind of drew you into that?
Well, the clients kept coming.
All
Right.
right. So yeah, so you fell into it basically, right? Like
Yeah.
that's where you got
Yeah.
supercharged, so to speak. Yeah.
Yeah, I actually want to get back into affiliate sites too, you know. I mean, I like link building, but I do feel sometimes nervous about being dependent on client work. And so I definitely need to diversify income and not just do client work, but also make money with affiliate sites or whatever. I don't know.
I got some more
But
questions. We can talk about that a little bit later about the future of link building or just see, our industry, client work, whatever. Okay, so Pitchbox, Ahrefs, anything else? Any other essential
oh
tools?
yeah, yeah. Pitchbox, Ahrefs. I use all the models, all the AI models.
Which
I'm
one's the
kind of
best now?
I still like Gemini a lot, but I also like Inflection. That's a Pi, right? But I just talk to Pi basically. And on my because I have it on my phone and I choose Voice 8. Voice 8 is I'm in love with
I've never
Voice
even
8.
heard of this one. I've never even heard of this.
Oh, he's so
Uh,
good. Oh, yeah, that's right.
it's
Yeah,
pretty
we can
cool, but
try.
it's like the movie Her. Like you're just sitting there and
Oh,
you'll. It's like you've got the best relationship in the world.
it's
It's very sci-fi. Yeah,
the
it's
thing with
interesting.
Pi is that they put and pauses and stuttering in
Yes.
the thing, and it's like,
It,
oh yeah, Bibi, you're right. Oh, I never
yeah.
thought about.
It,
Hey, what about? And I'm just like,
it makes me uneasy to be honest with you. You can fall in love with that voice pretty easily.
right.
Yeah.
But voice eight, definitely. It's the
Voice
most
8.
chill.
Okay, I'll check it out.
He's the most chilled, laid back one. So, but the other, I also tried the Yep chat. So the Yep is from Ahrefs, and what I liked about Yep was that it was giving me a little bit more variety in content ideation. So you know how I call it AI cheese. You know how AI favors certain phrases like
Yeah.
unveiled, unlock, mastering the art of,
Delve
beyond,
into
Yeah.
delve, captivate, craft,
Unlocking.
unlocking. Yeah,
the
so
digital landscape.
in
Yeah.
a world in today's, but Yep had it a little bit less. So I don't know why, but yeah,
Gotcha. Okay, before we move on, any other essential tools? We got AI, Ahrefs, Pitchbox, anything else, or is that pretty much the bread and butter?
yeah, that's it.
Cool.
Oh wait,
Um,
no, wait, make, yeah, make automation.
What does
what is
make?
that?
No.
Oh, make is automate like Zapier.
What's that? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah, like
Cool.
business automation stuff, and a ClickUp. That's a
Gotcha.
project management. Yeah,
Okay.
Slack.
Sure.
Any more, BB?
No, that's it.
I mean, I guess there's like a ton of stuff we don't really like think about using, right? Of course, like the easy
Yeah.
ones come to mind, Pitchbox, Ahrefs,
Yeah.
right?
Do
Um,
you guys also use Pitchbox, right, or not?
Pitchbox, Ahrefs, yeah, that's pretty much
Nice.
it. That's it.
So have you tried the new AI stuff, the
No,
features?
no, we're
No.
we're behind on the times as
Old
far as
school.
innovation goes.
But that means you must be doing it well if you're not trying out new stuff, right?
Well enough, I guess. Well enough.
Good.
Okay, so to make things a little more practical, or not practical, I forget the word I'm using for, maybe practical for our viewers. So a lot of our viewers, I was telling you before, they come to us for link building because they don't really know how to do it themselves. So they're somewhat newer. Maybe their websites like aren't very, maybe they're kind of like, lower end, or they haven't been going for that long, not much links at all, like very low DR. So let's say, you had to start over, you're on a desert island with an
Yeah.
internet connection and
Yeah.
you need to build backlinks to save your life. But you have essentially no budget, little to no budget.
Yeah.
What like how would this process look for you? Let's say you have a home and garden, or we'll say like an urban gardening blog, and yeah,
Yeah.
you're just getting started, little funding, and you need to build some backlinks, build that authority. What do you do?
Yeah. So I would do, I guess, three things, right? First, I would look at links that I'm leaving on the table. Are there any tools that I use or connections that I have? Because people leave those on the table because they're the easiest to get, right? So I would look at that and then just reach out and ask for a link. And so, for instance, for sometimes tools, they have a customer journey stories or stuff like that, and then you get the link back. And the second thing is that I would work on a linkable asset, something that could get passive links, but it's also easy to build links to. And you could use the Ahrefs Content Explorer for that real easily in combination with AI or something.
Do you do
So
do you do that with your agency? Do you do PR link building? I guess I would call it.
Yeah, this is the thing. I am always super confused with PR link building because some people tell me that I do that, but for me, PR link building is really that you have a story, right? And then you pitch it to journalists
Yeah.
and they link back to you.
Hmm.
Uh, but for me, it's more like doing, well, one type of linkable asset is a statistics piece. I think a lot of people do those now. And that's basically you're doing the homework for the journalist. So they're under pressure to meet a certain deadline, and you put all the facts on a thing, and then they usually don't check a level further, like who the original source is.
Hmm.
So they link to you. So that's a linkable asset. But I also use Content Explorer to come up with linkable assets. I really like doing a topic, but I also really like doing words that have nothing to do with the topic. So I did are you subscribed to Steve Toth SEO Notebook?
Hmm. Yeah, I
Yeah.
am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We've
So
interviewed him as well.
oh, cool. Did you guys do did you do something for the link building month in his notebook?
No, we didn't. We didn't.
Ah, well, you should pitch something to him. I mean, if you
Yeah,
want to.
we're lazy. I'll pitch him. I'll pitch him now, like a
Well,
couple months after. What is it, like 2 months after now? Yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, Steve? I
I,
heard about Link Building Month.
he's always looking for new stuff, new notes. So you should have a small little tip and but anyway,
It's a good
so
idea.
in one of those notes, I showed how I do that. So for instance, I put in how, right, in the Content Explorer, and then I filter on referring domains or Pinterest shares is really great. And then you can sort of see what's already working or not. And you can create something similar or extrapolate it to whatever topic you're talking about, you know.
But you also do like regular kind of style link building, right? Where someone will give you a target page and you just build links to that. Like you don't do only the creation
Yeah.
of assets.
Yeah, so most of my link building is guest post pitches. I always offer the linkable assets. I always come up with like 60 ideas or something. But in the past, a lot of clients just didn't want to do it. Now they're more interested in it. So now they're actually going through the linkable assets, and they start creating them. But I also I use a writer agency, and they can do stuff as well. Like the stats pieces are really easy to do. And I just
Gotcha.
did a linkable asset for it's how to write a specific type of speech and how you can use AI to do that. So the writers did that as a linkable asset.
Nice. Okay,
Yeah.
so back to the desert island on your
Oh
urban
yeah.
gardening blog. Okay, so you'd first kind of reach out and try to get those like kind of low-hanging fruits if they have some kind of like customer journey story or whatever. Some people you can reach out and just get the easy links. You'd also look into creating some linkable assets. And then how would you like let's say you created the linkable asset, you don't have access to Pitchbox. Let's just say you have an Ahrefs subscription. Like what would you do at that point? Like how do you get eyeballs on it?
Oh, oh yeah, for the urban gardening, right?
Yeah.
Oh, you mean like come up with the idea for linkable asset or do the outreach for it?
Well, just like, yeah, let's say you have the linkable asset and now you want to distribute it, but you don't have Pitchbox. Let's just say you have Ahrefs, like a basic kind of like SEO tool. Like how would you what would your process be then? I'm asking this just because Pitchbox I feel like is a lot out of a lot of people's league as far as like
Yeah,
money
yeah, I
goes.
know.
So it's just like, yeah, how do you get eyeballs on it now that you've got this interesting story or statistics piece or whatever?
Yeah. I know it's a really good question. Let me think about it. So I mean I really I like these kind of challenges. So let's first come up with a linkable asset because that makes it a little bit more
Okay.
textile and you can edit all that
Sure.
stuff out. So the urban gardening, I have no Content Explorer, so I can't look into that. What would be okay? So birds, we're in a city. Birds are pooping in the soil. That's a problem, right?
Hmm.
And um, and we're gonna do a linkable asset, maybe about how much poop, how much, how much poop is produced by birds in New York versus I don't know Los Angeles or something like that.
Okay.
That's gonna somehow tie into urban gardening, and it's gonna be real fun, like with like maybe pictures of birds pooping and a giant burp. I don't know. So that's the linkable asset. And then I would do outreach. I would first think about what surrounds this topic, right? So if we look at urban stuff, it could be urban planning, sustainability, animal care or animal handlers or something like wildlife preserve in cities, but also people that do maintenance of the city. So I would look at companies, but also people that talk about these topics and then segment those. But what tools would I use if I don't have? if I have to use Ahrefs for that, I would probably check if I would do bird poop and then go into the Content Explorer and do linking authors or something. That could be a starting point. But no way it's gonna get me as many people that I want to reach out to. So once I see the linking authors, I'm gonna see what sites they're linking from, and then I'm gonna put those sites back into, I guess, Site Explorer, and then see who are their organic competitors, and then maybe also check those keywords as well in the Keyword Explorer and see which sites are ranking on those keywords, and then combine all those lists, export them, and combine them per topic or per segment. But I do want to have at least like 200 in every segment, and otherwise I'll just merge them into one list. And then I would do an email that, and hopefully, well, I don't even think I have to theme it according to the segments, because the bird poop thing is already so, it affects everybody in the city, right? So
Hmm.
I think I can basically use the same template for all the lists, maybe tweak
Hmm.
them. Yeah, that's what I would do. So I bird poop and then go from there.
I love that because it's like, the topic of bird poop, it's obscure, it's kind of charged, it's going to get people's attention, bring them in.
Yeah,
So automatically
it's
it's
a great
like,
story.
yeah, yeah. And then, it's something that could, go viral. I'm thinking of like the Vice feeds that come down my Facebook and things like
Yeah,
that. But yeah, it's interesting.
Like I don't even click stuff, but I would click that. Like if I lived in New York
yeah,
and it
it's
like came
funny,
down my feed,
right?
I'd be like, what is that?
When I was small, my dad once told me, I think I was like 3 years old, and he told me, "Hey, a bird pooped on my head." And for years, I thought that a bird was flying above his head really slowly and doing like a dog-like turd on his head. Because I didn't connect to what the bird poop was. So yeah, yeah,
So, okay, so let's say you got on Ahrefs, you compiled a list of, I don't know, let's just say like 1,000 domains or whatever. And so now you need to reach out to them. So like what's your next step? Like
you
how,
gotta find the email addresses, of course, but that's gonna be so manual. I'm so
Mhm.
lazy now. But yeah, I would check their LinkedIn and their about and contact and everything, every normal thing like that. I do think people use Hunter and stuff like
Yeah,
that, right? Yeah.
yeah.
And I also saw this scraper shop. It's called shit, what's it called? Epify. So Epify store,
Mhm.
you can build scrapers, but you can also get scrapers there free or for a couple dollars. And I saw scrapers that were, what were they scraping? I think they were scraping email addresses somehow.
Gotcha. So basically, you'd look into Hunter, which I believe has a free thing or like is
Never
fairly
used it.
cheap. Hunter.io, I think is the website, right? Or you'd be looking just like some scraper options as far as just gathering all the emails. Now that you have your domain list, now you need an email list. So either scraping or like Hunter. Anything else for that kind of thing, or is that pretty much it?
Yeah, but don't take my word on it because I never done that. I was
I think it's pretty much the best. I mean, it's either manual, pay a cheap VA from somewhere,
yeah.
or Hunter, or yeah, find some kind of scraper solution.
But
Um,
we're on a desert island, so there's nothing to do. You might as well just do it
Yeah.
manual.
True. But
You're
then
going to
you'd
be
have no
able,
one to write your blog posts. So let's say that we're trying to do everything at once. We're like the sole worker for this urban planning or urban gardening blog, whatever. Yes. So you got your domain list, you got your email list, and now you need to start reaching out to people. How do you do that? How do you reach out to people? And how are you keeping track of everything since you're on your desert island and don't have any funding?
I think I'm really the wrong person to ask it because I've been using, I think I used BuzzStream really fast when I started because I was
Mhm.
like, I think maybe my very, very first campaign I did from Gmail directly. And then I very, it's also because I'm so chaotic. I really need a tool. So I don't even know. I know who's this guy? I think it's Alan Silvestri from My Growth Gorilla, or it's no, Eric Carell from Do Follow. He uses Airtable and he's built this whole giant system with sheets, and he doesn't need other tools, I think.
Yeah.
Should ask him. You should ask him on your thing.
Nick, do you use
yeah.
Airtable?
I have, but I'm a simple man and I, don't like all the bells and whistles if I'm being honest. So, I opted out of that for Quip really quickly. But also, if you haven't noticed, BB, Chris and I are kind of creatures of habit. So any tools that I've been using over the years are really once I've got a recipe for success with them, then I don't really like to dabble in other stuff too much, if I'm being honest. Not
Yeah.
a new tool kind of guy, really.
Yeah, so if somebody has no budget, I'm pretty sure it's probably easier now than it was when we started, right?
Hmm.
Maybe if we were starting out now, we wouldn't use other tools. We
Yeah.
would build it with maybe Make and then Google Sheets and AI or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But
Okay. So yeah, let's just say we're keeping track of it in a Google Sheet. We're just
yeah,
keeping track in a column, one after the column, saying what happened. So you're gonna you're gonna create your kind of personalized outreach message, your funny outreach message for all of them. You're gonna start firing it off. Are you
yeah,
following up? Are you doing anything like how many follow-ups are you doing?
yeah. I always send 2 follow-ups.
Two
Uh,
follow-ups? Cool.
yeah.
And is there anything else I'm kind of missing here as far as this very scuffed desert island link building campaign?
Yeah, I think drink water would be good.
Water's good. Gotta stay hydrated.
But the other thing is that I think people are usually so focused on one aspect of link building that's either gonna make or break the whole thing. But your conversion rate can be affected by anything really. So if you have a really good campaign, and then but you're a dick in the inbox when your reply management basically, that can really affect it. So for instance, sometimes you see it, somebody does a really nice outreach email, and then you reply, and then they reply back, and then you're like, oh, this is a whole different person than the one sending the email you
Yeah,
know
it
I
probably
think,
is.
yeah, it probably is. So you should really pay attention to how you handle emails. And I train my team in that as well. So for instance, let's say somebody replies back and they say, whoa, I'm really confused. I really don't understand what you're trying to do. And I don't think I want to do this. So you can go really defensive and be like, yeah, but it's a really good pitch and you should take it and it can bring value to your thing. But that doesn't work for me. What we usually do is just be very laid back and say, hey, I'm so sorry if it was confusing. Here's what I'm trying to do. And then be honest, just tell what you're trying to do. And then say, hey, if you want, if you're cool with this, no, if you're comfortable with this, then I definitely want to, show you something. If not, it's totally okay. Have an amazing day, right? So so it's really important how you handle your replies, and also that you reply on time. So I've
Gotcha.
also noticed if you don't reply on time, if you wait like a couple of days or something, it loses the momentum in the conversation.
So what do you consider on time? Like one day, one business day?
If possible, yes. We
Gotcha.
we we definitely probably don't do that, but it's what we aim for,
It's an
right? But if
aspiration. Okay.
yeah, and especially if you're going for unpaid links, so most of my links are not paid, it's really important because as soon as you have something established and then you drop the ball, then that other person thinks, oh, it's not so important for them.
They're
I
just
can
like
also,
everybody else.
yeah, and then it's like when you ask somebody for out for coffee and they're like,
Yeah.
yeah, cool, when? And you say,
Two
tomorrow.
weeks.
Oh, I can't do tomorrow.
Sometime.
Oh, and then it never happens. And then you're
Yeah.
both annoyed because you spent like back and forth trying to
So you
make
got
it
to
happen.
get it while it's hot. Get
Yeah.
them while they're all excited about it. I guess there's one other thing I wanted to ask you that I don't think we
Yeah.
touched on is like what kind of sites would you be focusing on? Is there any kind of like requirements you'd be looking at, or would you just be looking at, sites that kind of look okay, that look like they're, decent blogs that post content related to the niche or whatever?
Yeah, so it happens in 2 phases. So the phase before you do outreach and the phase after you get a reply. So before we do outreach, we already have the filters for some metrics. I don't really believe that much in metrics, but I do keep to a minimum.
What are the
And
minimums you
we
look at?
the minimum would be DR 25 and traffic 1,000, something like
Gotcha.
that.
Mhm.
But it also depends, right? So if there are some niches that are so small or so high end that you really go a little bit lower because those sites don't get a lot of traffic, but the traffic that they get is really valuable. That's and then so the first phase is the metrics and the eyeballs. And then you check, is there a right for us, or does the site look spammy or a link seller or something like that? If all those red flags apply, or one of them applies, then you don't do the site. Then you do the outreach, and once the outreach comes, once a reply comes back, then you take a deeper dive. So then you look at the reply itself. So if somebody comes back and says, oh yeah, I would love to do it. Here are 25 other sites I have. That's a red flag. Or if they
Yeah.
say, yeah, $25 and you're whatever, and link and casino is $100, then we don't do
Mhm.
it. And then you also look at the traffic flow and the outgoing links.
What are
So
you looking for in outgoing links? Just like kind of like bad neighborhood stuff,
yeah,
CBD, gambling.
yeah. I used to look at backlinks as well, but I don't do it anymore because really great sites, they get a lot of spammy backlinks anyway.
Gotcha.
But there is something that I've been thinking about lately is that, with all the updates of Google, I always liked to focus more on real companies, but it's hard, right? So sometimes we do get blogs or more content only sites. But lately I've been thinking maybe we should be really diligent or really strict with the content only sites because maybe they get hit again. I don't know. So I
Yeah.
don't know. What do you think
Yeah.
about that?
Yeah, it's kind of a weird time. Not really forming too many. I feel like we haven't had too much of an issue so far, but I don't know. Definitely something we're keeping our eyes on.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, the content only kind of stuff, it really seems like Google really hates this shit.
Yes.
So, so it's definitely something to think about. I don't know if it was you. Was it you? Maybe you gave a podcast or a talk sometime about how you like going after people that basically anyone who has like a service page, like our services type
Oh
thing.
yeah. So that depends on the prospecting angle that you choose, right? So prospecting angles are the methods on how you find sites. So usually a lot of people do it keyword based. So they look at related sites that rank on the relevant keywords
Hmm.
or whatever. But you can also look at sites that cater to the same audience, but they're not competing with you. And those often are companies. So how do you separate the companies from the sites that just talk about a topic? That's because you use a modifier in the URL that shows that they're an actual business. So it would be like in URL services, in URL appointment, in URL portfolio, all those kind of things.
Customer
But
service.
yeah, but it depends shipping, but it depends on the type of business. So if it's a shop, it would be shipping, right?
Hmm.
If it's a dentist, it would be appointment or something like that.
Have you seen much after this update so far? Have you seen like anything big as far as like the sites that you've been working with and getting links from, things like that?
Let me think. So I'm just going
Yeah.
through the Rolodex of all the clients. So there was one client, but they actually paused with us end of last year because of their budget stuff.
Mm.
They were going hard on AI content, and I told them I don't think it's good. But they were actually working with the writer agency that I use, but they fired them and then they went on AI. And they've seen a huge drop. And but I'm still in contact with them and they say they don't think it's the AI. They say it's a migration thing or whatever. But I actually really do think it's the AI. And yeah, because they were so systematically pumping out content and around every fucking thing on the planet. And they had like 3 million traffic, right? It was really great, but I don't know. So that one and the other, let me see if somebody else had a. No, I don't think anybody else was hit, but they're holding their breath because I think I have 2 or 3 clients that are actually basically affiliate sites. So
But
I don't know.
as far as like the sites you're getting links from, you haven't seen like any clients complain like, oh, like you got me a link
Oh,
from the site, it's de-indexed now or something like that.
no, no.
Because apparently this is a thing. It's not something we've had any complaints about yet. And so it's not something we've really noticed too much, but I saw a decent amount of posts where people were saying a lot of like, basically link seller sites type things were getting hit for,
I
using a
think
lot of
it's
like AI content and whatnot.
Yeah, I think it's probably primarily the kind of like link farms you're finding on Fiverr, things
Yeah,
like
that's what
that.
I'm thinking so far.
Yeah.
But I keep seeing these posts like every day and they're like, dude, link sellers are panicking. I was like, we're not panicking. Like, what are you
Well,
talking
Nope.
I
about?
no, no, no. I think the difference is that you're not. I think it's with the link marketplaces that have
Yeah.
where their lists are accessible.
Yeah,
Yes. Yeah.
Because Google also has accounts there,
yeah.
Yeah.
so
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting. For forever, people have been getting away with doing this kind of thing, or just thinking that nothing's ever going to happen, right? Keeping everything wide out in the open. And it's like that makes you a pretty easy target in the end, which I think, is finally coming to fruition.
But to be honest, it's always been like that. It's just the difference between short-term and long-term thinking. And for a lot of people, short-term thinking actually works really well because they're
Yeah.
like rank and tank, rank and tank, rank and tank, and they're richer than I am. So you know.
That's true.
But but
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
I myself, I would not feel comfortable with it because I think because I have that creator thing in me, right? So
Yeah.
I feel bad about creating something that I'm not proud of a little bit.
Yeah.
It's just not in your nature. I'm kind of
Yeah,
the same way. Like I actually really like respect a lot of like the more like black hat, like rank and bank or churn and burn, whatever you want to call it.
yeah.
But yeah, just something with it just doesn't sit quite right with me. It just feels like I don't know. Maybe I just haven't seen enough money from it. Maybe I just need to do it more and start making a lot of money with it,
Maybe.
and then maybe
Or
that's the
maybe you and I we connect our self-worth with the things that we create, right? So when we learn to cut that cord and we don't
uh-huh.
care what we create, then we're gonna be like mega billionaires.
Dang, maybe that's
Yeah.
true. I used to be kind of a creator too. I used to be a photographer for a while.
Oh,
So I
nice.
guess you could say I'm a photographer and kind of like some video work as well. So maybe that is it. Maybe we just care about what we create. That's the
Yeah,
disconnect.
I had it. So I was in the evening. I sometimes play around with stuff. So I created a TikTok video, and it was completely AI generated. And I
Hmm.
followed this whatever bro on YouTube, and then I made it, and immediately I felt bad. I was like, I hate TikTok. I don't want to. I don't want to make money of this social media crack. You know,
Hmm.
I wish I didn't feel that way though, because TikTok is great for that.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so yeah, I just realized we've definitely gone over time.
Oh, sorry.
Are you chilling? Are you chilling, or are you like you running somewhere?
No, I got a lot to do, but I don't want to do it.
Okay, I'll ask you one
Keep
more
asking
question.
more stuff.
One more question, then we'll wrap up. Because this is something we talked about
Yeah,
earlier, and I just want to kind of get to it real quick 'cause it's interesting for me.
yeah,
Yeah, what do you see as far as the future of link building, the future of yeah, just backlinks, the future of, we're in the same boat here, link
yeah.
builder to link builder. Like, what do you see the future of our industry in the next 3 to 5 years or so?
I think it's going to be a little bit up and down, like insecure, right? So I think people are going to be running away from links, and then they're going to come back to links. And in some ways, links are the only things still holding the internet together because AI is just ripping it all apart.
Mhm.
So I don't think links are dead necessarily, but it's gonna be insecure. So I think companies maybe they keep to their budget for a little bit and then they let go and then they so it's gonna be up and down. But for the further future, yeah, I don't know. The way I think kids are gonna get sick of Google and stuff like that.
See, this is
You
the
know?
direction I'm kind of leaning in. It's like, yeah, I agree with you. Like, people are going to hold their budgets for a minute 'cause they're going to be like, oh, SEO is like, we can't bank on it. And then they're going to come back and be like, we need SEO. So they're going to keep buying links or whatever. But then, like, how much time is it going to be until like SEOs just completely ruin the internet with AI, where people are like, we can't do text anymore. We're just going to go like just be doing video. And then
Yeah.
link building just disappears as an industry because no one cares about ranking a website anymore and everyone's
Yeah.
just creating video content or TikToks or whatever.
Yeah, I think that might eventually happen, absolutely. But it's probably going to be a little bit slower than we think. But yeah, I think we should definitely look into other things as well.
For sure. I guess as a creator, it wouldn't be that hard. All right, yeah, I guess we'll go ahead and end it there so you can get back to your horrible and busy day. Yeah, thanks for coming and hanging out with us for a bit. I'm
Yeah, it
glad
was
we
nice.
finally got to talk.
Yeah.
Are you gonna be at any other conferences or anything for the rest of the year?
No, I'm speaking in 2 days at Friends of Search, but it's here in Amsterdam, so that's
Hmm.
where I am. And I got some invites for conferences, but they wouldn't pay my travel costs and other costs and stuff. So I was just like, no, because like I said, the only reason why I said yes to conference is because I wanted to travel for free.
Hmm.
And that's happened a couple of times now. So that's great. But it seems that now people in conferences they don't have their budget or something, or they don't want to do that. So when I say, oh, yeah, then just give me this money, and then they're like, no. So
Negotiation
Yeah.
over.
yeah, and which is totally fine, right? I don't have any ego in it. I'm not like, oh, I wanted to go to this thing or something. It's
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
things. To be honest, conferences really tire me out. So when I'm at a conference, when I'm speaking and stuff, I'm just 1 hour in or something, just hanging out with people, and then the other times I'm just hanging out with people outside of it. But
Gotcha.
and
Yeah, they can be pretty tiring, socially
yeah,
draining, but a lot of fun as well. It's considering we're just isolated on our computers for a lot of the year.
that's the thing.
No, you
I
don't.
No, I work 4 hours a day, and then I go out and meet friends and do stuff.
Smart.
Yeah, because
Nice.
my motivation was never to be a baller or whatever. It was always like work-life balance.
All right, last question. Where can people find you? Where can they connect? Where can they learn from you?
Yeah, you can go to LinkedIn, look me up there, or to at my site BibiBuzz. Oh yeah, but tonight, oh shit, oh no, in a couple of hours I'm gonna release my first YouTube video, which I
Oh
just want
my.
to
Nice.
fun.
All right.
Yes, and it's called Spam or Jam, and I've invited one of my team members to comment on the emails.
Awesome. I'll
Nice.
I'll definitely watch and give a little comment. Spammer Jam, Bibi the Link Builder, airing tonight, ladies and gentlemen. Catch it,
Yeah,
be there or be square. Actually, when you see this video, it's gonna be too late. But anyway, maybe she'll have more videos out by then.
yeah, maybe I'll do
Um,
more.
awesome. All right, Bibi, yeah, thanks for joining us. And I don't know when I'll see you next, but I guess we'll just see you online, just leaving weird comments on your posts.
Yeah, I do that too on YouTube. I always try to say first as the first comment.
Never gets old.
Yeah.
All right, until next time, Bibi. Bye bye.
Yeah,
Bye.
thanks for
Thank you.
coming.
Bye.